statement by Donald Trump is offensive and undermines our sovereignty, and is a reminder that our reliance on foreign aid and foreign direct investment surrenders us to the will of imperialists who use money to dictate the economic and policy direction of Africa. We want to make it categorically clear to the President of the USA that we are going to expropriate land without compensation and pursue legislative measures to do so, and no threat will stop us. His misinterpretation of the Expropriation Act, which is a mild and cosmetic intervention, is an assessment of a measure that is going to be pursued through the amendment of our Constitution as South Africans, and there is nothing he can do to undermine our independence. The EFF reiterates its position that we must build state capacity, build a strong agricultural and industrial nation which will not depend on the West, and intensify trade relations with progressive nations such as China, Russia, and nations within BRICS who do not use foreign policy as an instrument to impose their will or bully other nations into submission.
America is under attack, and some federal judges are fighting back against convicted felon Donald Trump's executive orders and unprecedented actions taken by his first buddy, Elon Musk. This morning, Musk's Doge team was temporarily blocked from accessing Treasury Department data, including the Social Security and bank account numbers for millions of Americans. 2 federal judges have blocked Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. And last night, the effort to place thousands of staffers from the USAID, put them on leave, that was temporarily blocked. Although Trump's already trying to literally erase it by removing the agency's signage from its D.C. headquarters, one letter at a time. Meanwhile, a different federal judge is letting Musk's team maintain access to the Labor Department, including sensitive information that could include Americans' medical and financial records.
A statement by Donald Trump is offensive and undermines our sovereignty, and is a reminder that our reliance on foreign aid and foreign direct investment surrenders us to the will of imperialists who use money to dictate the economic and policy direction of Africa. We want to make it categorically clear to the President of the USA that we are going to expropriate land without compensation and pursue legislative measures to do so, and no threat will stop us. His misinterpretation of the Expropriation Act, which is a mild and cosmetic intervention, is an assessment of a measure that is going to be pursued through the amendment of our Constitution as South Africans, and there is nothing he can do to undermine our independence. The EFF reiterates its position that we must build state capacity, build a strong agricultural and industrial nation which will not depend on the West, and intensify trade relations with progressive nations such as China, Russia, and nations within BRICS who do not use foreign policy as an instrument to impose their will or bully other nations into submission.
America is under attack, and some federal judges are fighting back against convicted felon Donald Trump's executive orders and unprecedented actions taken by his first buddy, Elon Musk. This morning, Musk's Doge team was temporarily blocked from accessing Treasury Department data, including the Social Security and bank account numbers for millions of Americans. 2 federal judges have blocked Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. And last night, the effort to place thousands of staffers from the USAID, put them on leave, that was temporarily blocked. Although Trump's already trying to literally erase it by removing the agency's signage from its D.C. headquarters, one letter at a time. Meanwhile, a different federal judge is letting Musk's team maintain access to the Labor Department, including sensitive information that could include Americans' medical and financial records.
Let's get the latest now on the faltering relations between the United States and South Africa, and we speak to Simon Marks, our correspondent in Washington. Simon, good evening to you. Our time, and President Trump, it would seem, has been talking yet again on his favorite platform, Truth Social. What's he been saying, and is it about South Africa?
Yeah, absolutely, Golly. And I mean, further indications here that not only is this crisis showing no sign of abating, but actually Donald Trump is now doubling down on what he said about the situation as he claims it exists in South Africa. So he took to his own social media platform, Truth Social, just a couple of hours ago with a fresh posting about South Africa in which he says, and this is the first sentence, South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people very badly. He goes on to repeat that he views this as a massive human rights violation, language that he used last week in a separate Truth Social posting, and he once again insists the United States won't stand for it. It's going to take action. He says he's going to be cutting off all aid to South Africa until further notice, which isn't quite what his executive order that he signed on Friday goes about doing, but certainly the ultimate goal of that executive order is a complete cut in all aid and assistance to South Africa. But what is most interesting about this new posting is the use of the active tense. South Africa is confiscating land, he says. Last night, the new spokeswoman at the State Department, Tammy Bruce, said the United States stands ready to help the descendants of settlers in South Africa who are being expropriated. So this is an indication that at senior levels, the highest level of the United States government, Donald Trump seems to believe that in some fashion, white farmers in South Africa, Afrikaners to whom he's now offering refugee status, even though yesterday AfriForum insisted its members have no plans or desire to move to the United States, he is suggesting that expropriations are underway, which, as you know, is a complete misstatement of the situation in South Africa. We know that government is planning to send a delegation here, they say, as part of routine travels by delegations to all G20 nations to try and focus on government's priorities for the G20 summit in November. Clearly, that delegation is going to be tasked with trying to unpick this catastrophe in the bilateral relationship between Washington, D.C. and Pretoria. But with Donald Trump now tonight there in South Africa saying that land is being appropriated, people are being forced now off the land, there is just a fundamental misunderstanding of facts that have somehow made their way into the thinking of Donald Trump and are now dominant in the direction, the trajectory of the bilateral relationship.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Jones, Why Not TV. Please subscribe. Bye for now till we meet again next time. Subscribe, please. Don't forget to like and to comment. Thank you very much. Dr. Jones, Why Not TV. Mutsonga wa Shiviri from Limpopo. Goodbye till we meet again next time. Subscribe.